Good morning, everyone. It's Tess, and today is tip 437, and I'm still going through the one thing, and today I'm going to talk about weight loss focus. And again, the one thing is about furthering yourself in business, but what I'm realizing through all areas of life is that if we get good habits or good practices, as Doc V says, together, it applies in all areas of our life. So today I wanted to talk about focus, and it kind of went along with multitasking yesterday, and I think I have a hair in my eye, so excuse me while my blinking happens. The one thing is really got some great tools and some great understanding, and it's actually shedding a lot of light on some areas. Well, hi, Diane, good to see you, and I think there's someone else on. I'm not sure who it is, but hello. And I'm realizing that learning the skills that are helping me with my weight loss journey are helping in all areas of my life. My life looks so different now than it did 2 years ago. And where I'm headed is greater than what I ever hoped for with surgery. I know, I just as a reminder for those that might be new, I started at a BMI of 60. It's been almost 6 years. I've lost half my weight, and I am continuing to lose weight almost 6 years into my journey. And I'm just looking for things every day. And because today I'm going to talk about weight loss focus, I'm just looking for something every day to just keep me moving forward. The first time I lost over 100 pounds, because yes, this is the second time, I didn't have all the skills together, and I really didn't know where to go to get the skills to keep me moving forward. And I tend to be a person, or had tendencies in the past, to try to do too much all at once. I'd get overwhelmed, and then I would feel like a failure and I would never succeed. This time I just kept promising myself, no matter when I stumble, I've just got to keep looking for something else to move forward. And now in this book, the one thing they're talking about focus, well, that kind of reminds me of what my journey was, is that before I always created so many things to do because I thought that if I didn't do everything and I didn't do it perfectly, I wasn't going to succeed. I didn't see the value in the small focus building the long-term win. And I thought it was interesting because in this book, the one thing, he talks about juggling isn't multitasking. And if you think about it, multitasking, they always talked about it like in the business world, that you can have like 3 monitors going and you have 3 different sets of 3 different projects going on. Well, juggling is just taking that one project, finishing it, tossing it up, grabbing the next project, finishing it, tossing it up. Multitasking, at least what my understanding was, is that we were all over the place. Juggling is that catch, toss, catch, toss, catch, toss. Multitasking, we're almost, I'm going to call it, and this, I did tutor learning disabled kids. It's like a sensory overload. You've got multiple things going on all at the same time. Your focus is divided. You're not able to kind of keep moving forward. I think that that's where I went wrong the first time I lost 100 pounds. I had so many focuses because I didn't want to gain it back that I wasn't able to direct my attention to something to keep me moving forward. He kind of talked about, if you're thinking about multitasking, it's interrupted workflow. It's constantly moving from place to place. And when you do that, when you come back to an item, you're not allowed to, you have to take an amount of time to reconnect to it. And they were doing studies on it, and if you're doing a complex thing, which is what I tend to do, it can take up to more than 100% time to get back to where you once were. And hello, I see a few more on. I just don't see who you are, so thank you for being here. But there's a revisit time, a reacclimate time. And when you're trying to multitask too many things, he said even simply as if you're detailed into a worksheet, we all know if someone was to come up to you and ask you a question, you've got to figure out where you are and you weren't able to come back. I think that's even it with the weight loss. If I get so focused on trying to do the water, the steps, the walking, the food, if I do all of it all at the same time, I'm so broken in all the things that I'm trying to do. I'm not succeeding in any one. And by the end of the day, I don't feel like I've succeeded. And that's when I would throw in the towel previously. Now this time it is different because I focused on one thing. I will say that once you get a habit together, and that's a further down talk, but once you get a habit together, you can look at a new focus to improve, but only one focus at a time. Hello, Miss Sean Renee, good to see you. I'm not sure if anyone else is on because I don't see any other names, but thank you for being here. So that idea of focusing on one thing and creating a habit is what has been the difference for me this time. Just a reminder for those who don't know, when I had surgery 6 years ago, this was me. And now I'm 6 years post-surgical and my life is different. And I'm so grateful for all the skills I've learned and the people that are around me that are helping me to go next level. And I'll always be grateful because the life I'm leading now is so much better. Hello, hello, good to see everyone. I have a few of you on, so thank you for being here. So again, this is about focus. Juggling is doing a task, tossing it, and multitasking is trying to have 15 things on the, and this is the old me, 15 things on the board and thinking I had the brain capacity to keep them all moving forward. They were even saying, even computers don't operate that way. So why we think our brain can is beyond this gentleman. But the computer will do a task, toss it, grab the next one, toss it. So he was saying that if we mirror that idea, oh, thank you so much. I slips up and hold pizza and cookies. And you know what, Diane? That's past, that's gone. Today's a new day, and you just move forward. And I think that's what the focus is we have to, today your focus is just forgiving yesterday, and what is the thing you're going to do today? Maybe it's no pizza, or you know, you're back on your program, and that's your focus, and you keep moving forward. Because you've got habits, they're close to you, and as long as you don't keep breaking them, you'll just keep moving forward. And I think that's so important. We get too caught up. And I know even myself, when I'm in a detailed work paper, I don't want somebody to come and mess it up. I want to be able to finish it. My dad is detailed in a different way. I often told him he could have been an accountant because he is detailed in machines. My dad could listen to a machine and tell you what was wrong with it. But he would say that he didn't like shift work because he didn't want people to touch his machine, because if they touched his machine, often he would have to go back, look at what they did, fix whatever they did that didn't go in alignment with what he was trying to do, and then he would lose a lot of time trying to do it. It's kind of the same thing with this journey, with our weight loss journey. If you're not picking your task, following through on it, and moving on to the next, you end up all mixed up. And I can remember as a kid him coming home. I told them not to touch my machine because he knew everything that he had to checklist, and the machines he worked in were as big as a person. So, I mean, you had certain things like you had to lock out things because if electronics, the electrical went on, you know, it could actually injure someone. But it made me think about, like, even in weight loss, there are steps, and if we follow the steps, we can move forward. And my life is working so much better now, and just knowing that I can't do everything perfectly, but I just pick one thing to focus on. I can't focus on the to-do list of 60 things, kind of back to yesterday. Of that list, narrow down that 20 down to the 20%. Keep narrowing it down till you get that one thing. We know that dividing, like even if you were to look at a television, I remember the old days of picture in picture, and we don't even do that anymore, but picture in picture, do you really focus on both pictures? Even monitors, you can have like a room full of monitors, but can you focus on all those monitors? And I see a few more, so hello, thank you for being here. They were even saying this, and this is really something to think about for car accidents and stuff. Yes, we listen to stuff on when we're driving, but what they were saying is, yeah, and we want instant results. You're right. We talked about that in group either this week, or it must have been last week because we didn't have group this week. But it's like there was a day when you would order something from an infomercial on TV and it'd be 6 weeks before it delivered. Everybody heard everybody complaining because they didn't get their Amazon delivery in 2 days when COVID was at its worst. And we've become used to everything happening at once. I want to lose 50 pounds by tomorrow. It's not reasonable to lose 50 pounds by tomorrow. So we just have to keep moving forward. They were talking about driving too, and they were trying to explain focus and how that if you're focused on the road, your eyes and your brain is visualizing and seeing what's happening before you so that you can see down the road that there's a car changing lanes. If the space isn't big enough, you can take your foot off the accelerator, slow down. Well, if your mind all of a sudden goes to the idea of this new way you're going to decorate your living room, and we're all guilty of this because this is life, but if we can identify it and help ourselves, if you start thinking about that picture of the living room, your brain has gone there, and you may not be able to see that down the road there's a car that's changing lanes with you. So I thought that this was really interesting because in the weight loss journey, I've been guilty of that. I've been guilty of putting so many tasks on my to-do list, I couldn't move forward. And I tried, but I would stumble so many times on trying to do so many tasks. It's never, ever been that I'm lazy. And I'm going to say for a lot of you, it's never been that you're lazy, but you've tried in the wrong approach to move forward. So you got to just kind of narrow it down, accept the small wins, and keep moving forward. I love this book, and I will put a link to it after I'm finished, because I'm recognizing that I'm 6 years into this journey. And again, I'll remind you guys, this is who I was. And I can't ever let that person come back. So I am going to continue to learn every day, and I'll share with you guys what I'm learning because I don't want to go back. He kind of explained that multitasking leads to poor decisions. And multitasking is the first part of going into this focus idea. Multitasking leads to poor decisions. I'll tell you from being an accountant, I do know that if a boss comes up to me and starts asking a question, sometimes I have to politely say, hey, I'm really in the middle of this and I'm getting close to an answer. Can I come back to you in about 10 minutes? Just let me kind of nail this down so that I can put it together. And once I get that put together, I'll go talk to them. So sometimes we have to be honest about maybe it's not the right time. You can do it in a nice way, but kind of try to keep your focus. But in the weight loss journey, this is going to be important too. The other thing they pointed out about trying to multitask and not keep yourself focused is that there's loose ends, and I know I'm guilty of this too. My to-do list at work, and even in my weight loss, if I don't stay on focus, I end up with this list of a bunch of tiny little things that maybe never get done because I didn't get to the end of what I was working on. He kind of mentioned at the end of this, like the reason that this focus on these things in our life is important is, and I almost laugh because most of us have been dealing with Doc V, but if we were being operated on, would we want our doctor to be multitasking at the time that he's operating on us? And the answer is no. And what I'm going to tell every single one of you, I have spent the past 2 years educating in a completely different way than I ever did in the past. I've made myself stop and look at my life differently than I've ever looked at it before. I've connected with people that I am so grateful to have been connected with and have educated me in things that I didn't have available to me before. And my life is different. I did this surgery to have a life of experiences, and the experiences that are coming to me now surpass 100-fold, 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 1,000,000 more than I ever dreamed possible. So if you're struggling with your journey, just narrow down your focus to one thing and let yourself win each day. Something, one step forward, will lead you to looking back 6 months from now and be amazed at what you're accomplishing. I'm not the person I was 2 years ago, and I'm grateful for all the help and for all the people who have helped me to get where I am today. I appreciate you all so much. I want you to have a beautiful Saturday. Thank you for all your support. You will never know how much you mean to me. And together, we can all grab each other's hand, help each other up, and cross the finish line together to the most beautiful life. It's been painful the past couple of years. Let's make things beautiful. And thank you so much to all of you for being here for me. Have a beautiful weekend.